So today I am sowing some seeds for greens, and it's a really easy way to constantly have something that you can pick from your garden. And there are always some kind of greens that will grow at any time of the year. We're now in August, so it's a great time to get some new greens growing, sowing some seeds, getting them in the garden. So while there's a little bit of warmth, they will put some good growth out. There are some varieties that will grow well even through winter. And of course, our winters aren't harsh. We don't have snow or anything like that. But I'm going to show you what it is that I'm sowing and why I choose these varieties. And then I'll wait and see until they're ready to plant out, and we'll get them out into the garden. So one of the ones that I'm sowing, this one here, is a baby cos lettuce. Now I actually harvested these seeds, or saved these seeds from the plants that I had in just before summer. In summer they tend to go, they bolt and go to seed, so they're not ideal for the warmer weather. But I like them. They're a small variety. You can pull off the leaves. You don't have to harvest the whole head, and they'll continue to grow until they go to seed. So I've popped some in here. The seeds are very small, so you can see they are quite small. So you just want to sprinkle them on and just put a light covering of seed raising mix on top, and then just sort of make sure it's covered and press down lightly. The other one that I have just done as well is this lettuce here, which is an Australian yellow leaf. This is a really nice kind of like a softer leaf, not a crunchy leaf like a cos lettuce, but it grows really well, and I quite like this variety. So I've just put some in here. So that's my lettuce, and lettuce are a good variety to sow on a regular basis. So as these start to get used up in the garden, you should have more ready to go in. I'm not very good at that, and I'm trying to get better at that. That's my plan for this year. The other thing I'm going to do is some chives. Now these are chives that this container was some chives that I bought, but I'm going to sow some chive seeds. I have had some issues with them not germinating, which I think is why I ended up buying those, but they are in date. So we're going to give these a go. Chive seeds are a little bit bigger, but we'll just sort of sprinkle some over into this tray, and then put a light covering again of the seed raising mix, and they should be good. The other one that I'm doing are some spring onions. I don't tend to grow onions. I have grown them before, but I just find spring onions are easier to grow, and you can use them in a lot of instances that you would onions. I still buy some onions, or they come in my veggie box, but I just find spring onions are simple to grow all year round. They don't take up as much space, and they don't take as long before you can start harvesting them. So again, this is another one that I'd like to succession sow. So, sow seeds on a regular basis. So I've always got some in the garden. And the other one is, this one here is a perpetual spinach, which actually is a little bit more like silver beet or chard. I've tried to grow several different spinach varieties, and this seems to be the hardiest, and I find that it works the best for me and in my circumstances. So that's one, and this one will continue to grow like for a long time. You can pick the leaves. It takes a while, usually like a couple of seasons before it goes to seed. And as it says here, it also grows through the warmer months. So a lot of the leafy greens can go to seed in the warmer months. And over here, I've already sowed some. Where are they? Here we go. I think there's some in there. This is another silver beet, or this is like a rainbow chard, or it might be the red variety of silver beet or chard. There's some more in there. So they're another great variety. I love growing silver beet. It is one of my favorite greens, and I find it much easier to grow than spinach. And pretty much you can use it as you would spinach. The end of summer is also a great time to sow some seeds for winter. And a lot of the winter crops, particularly the brassicas, need a little bit of warmth to get going. If you plant them or sow them too late, which I've done many times, once the cold hits, they will grow, but they're really, really slow. And in the end, you don't end up getting anything to pick until it gets closer to spring or in spring. So after making that mistake many times, I am trying to get mine in earlier this year. So I'm just going to show you what it is that I have sown. Most of them have already sprouted, and I've got a couple that haven't germinated, so I'll need to re-sow those. So what I've got is some coriander. Coriander grows better in the cooler months. It tends to go to seed in summer. So I'm getting some coriander ready. These are my brassicas. So I've got Italian broccoli. Oh, that one's not looking very good. They do need a bit of a water. And then the other one is called Green Delicious, maybe, or Green Delight broccoli. I can't remember. Some of them haven't sprouted, so I may need, that's another broccoli that hasn't sprouted. I might need to re-sow them. I've got mini cabbage. I tend to grow mini cabbages. I just find that they're easier to manage when they're all ready to harvest. And mini cauliflower. None of these have germinated, so I need to go and get the seeds. I think I may have put the old seeds in instead of the newer ones. I need to throw those out. I do have a new packet, so I have a feeling I put the wrong ones in and they have not germinated. So I'm going to go and grab those and re-sow them. That is not an eggplant. It says eggplant. That's another mini cabbage. And the other thing I have here is a silver beet or a chard, and this is like a ruby, a red one. I'll also be doing some regular silver beet or chard as well. And then over here is some more broccoli. So broccoli green delight, I think it is, and broccoli Italian. I've had a little bit, some of them haven't done very well. The other thing is this seed raising mix was a little on the old side, and I think it was a bit dry, and it's not, I don't think it's keeping moist enough, but I certainly have some that have sprouted there. This is mini cabbage, so nearly all of them except for this one up the back has germinated. And then here at the front I've got more silver beet in here. In fact, seeing how much silver beet I have, I may not put any of the regular variety. I might just keep it with that. I've got some dill, which is just starting to sprout there. And here we've got, it says mini cauliflower and red cabbage, but I don't know if that is mini cauliflower. I think maybe they're all red cabbage. That's, yeah. Although, oh, they might be. I wonder why. Maybe I put the newer seeds in this one. That's quite possible because they have germinated really quite well. And I've only got one and another one just germinating here of the red cabbage. So I might need to put some more of that in. These are the ones that I just did. Spring onion, lettuce and chives. And I've got the cos lettuce over there. Then I've got tatsoi, which is a Chinese or Asian vegetable. I really like the tatsoi. I think it grows really well. It's simple to grow. And I've got leek. I've got 2 containers of leek there that are starting to sprout now. So that's what I have at the moment. I really need to get onto the cauliflower and maybe some of that broccoli and re-sow them because they haven't all germinated. And I'm wondering if these smaller containers with the older seed raising mix is not working very well. They're drying out a bit too quickly. I have been covering, you can see there in my greenhouse near the window here, and on hot days I have been covering them with this shade cloth so that they're not getting too hot sitting here in the window in the greenhouse and drying out too quickly. So I have been covering them on the warmer days. But yeah, I like to come out and just check and see what's germinating. And if I've got things that aren't germinating at all, or, you know, a few sort of, you know, empty seeds or empty containers that are not sprouting any seeds, I'll then go and re-sow the seeds. So these need a water. I didn't water them last night, so I'm going to do that now and go and find some seeds to re-sow the cauliflower. The other thing that I've been doing getting to the end of summer is a lot of the plants and flowers are going to seed, and I always let some go to seed, and I've been collecting the seed so that I can have them for next year. So I'll show you in a moment what I am collecting and how I collected and store these seeds for next year. So in here, I've just pulled off, this is just a jar. I needed them to dry out, which they now have, because I picked them off after I watered them, so they're a little bit wet. But in here is I'll just pull it out and show you. So you can see that flower head. This is I think it's called a Swan River daisy, and they are beautiful. And I grew them over spring and summer, and they seem to handle the heat really well. And so you can see that they've gone to seed. So if I pull this out, can you see the little seed underneath the fluffy bit? So I will separate that and get the seeds out, and then I will put them in this little plastic container. These containers are from silicone earplugs that I wear at nighttime when my husband is snoring or there's too much noise. I'm a very light, sensitive sleeper. So I use silicone earplugs, and they come in this little plastic container, which are perfect for storing seeds. This is another one. This was a different brand of earplugs in a slightly bigger container that I have saved some baby cos seeds in. But I think these containers, these smaller ones, are the perfect size for keeping seeds. So what I'm going to do is get the seeds out of here and store them in here and label what they are. The other thing that I'm doing is, and I need to go and get some more, but these are sunflowers. So these are the smaller variety of sunflowers. They put off lots of flower heads, so not just one main flower head, but lots of small flower heads. So you can see in here, if I pull this out, so pull it out like that, there is your sunflower seed. So this one's has a white seed. So I'll be pulling those out and I'll store them in that container so I can grow more sunflowers next year. And the other one I need to do is cut off the larger sunflowers that I have, which I think they are the Van Gogh landscape ones. And we're going to harvest those so I can grow more sunflowers next year. So this is the smaller variety. You can see this is all died back, but you can see how many different flower heads. This one's still partly alive, but nearly finished. So I can cut off each of these and save the seed. Over here, these are the Van Gogh landscape. They're a beautiful sunflower, you can see there. And this one's nearly dead. This one here is dead. So I can cut that off and then pull out the seeds. And this is another one here. So you can see when you pull the flower part away, the seed is in behind it, in there. And they're in quite tight, so you've got to really like pull them out. But this one still needs a little bit more drying. I'm going to let that dry a little bit more so the seeds are really dry before I harvest them. So it's really good to just leave your plants. Don't get rid of them when they start to die, so that you can harvest some seeds for next year. The other thing that I've also done is I've harvested seeds from my dill. So this dill here has all gone to seed. I've already collected plenty, but see, these are the dill seeds that you can just pull apart, shake into a paper bag or a container, and then you've got more dill seeds for next year. The other thing I have here is this cornflower. So this is a purple variety of cornflower that's like, well, it's not looking very good there, but this is now done. But I can pull these off. I'll just show you. And you've got your seeds inside the dried flower heads. So you can leave these, let them dry off and go to seed, and then you can pull out the seed and use them for next year. But I still have plenty. I've collected plenty of these, so I don't really need to get any more. But that's what you do. Just let them look a bit dry and yucky like that. But it means that you will get seed for next year. Now you may be wondering, why wouldn't I keep the sunflower seeds to eat? Now I do like sunflower seeds, and it did cross my mind as I was harvesting these. I had a taste to see. I was like, could I just keep some of these and use them, as you would sunflower seeds in cooking and so on. They're a bit, I don't know, they're a bit husky. They have a lot of husk, and they didn't quite have enough bite to it, like a sunflower seed. So I'm assuming, and I don't know, someone out there might know more about this, but maybe there's certain varieties of sunflower seeds that are grown for eating, and these are more like ornamental sunflower seeds. But I certainly did try them, but there's not a lot of like meat, for want of a better word, inside the seed husk. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're too old. What I might do is one of the ones that is not quite fully dead yet, I might pull those seeds out and see if they're any different. Maybe it's because this one, as you can see, is quite dead and quite old. I wonder if you harvest them earlier. I might give it a try. Okay, I just had a try. Same thing. They weren't as dry. They're a little bit more moist, but still very fibrous, seem to have a lot of husk and not much kind of stuff inside, like normal sunflower seeds that you would buy to eat. So I'm not thinking they're going to be any good for eating. Anyway, I think the chooks will enjoy them though, so I'm going to go and give them to the chooks. Hello, it's Rachel from the future here. So it's a couple of weeks after I sowed those seeds that I just showed you, and what had been germinating. And I wanted to give you a little bit of an update because I had a couple of issues. One was that the seeds were drying out a little bit too much down here near the window. So I've moved them away from the window so they're not as not getting as hot. And also I open up the doors, and it's been quite windy, so the wind was drying them out. I've also moved some over here, so just below the tomatoes, along the ledge here, and I've got some other over the other side. to give them a little bit of shade and protection. They're still getting enough light, but they're not sort of getting dried out quite as much. But there's another issue that I've just realized, because I just watched the video that I filmed 2 weeks ago, and looking at the cabbages and the other brassicas that had germinated, and now I'm looking at my pots thinking they've disappeared. There is a stalk left, and I'm losing all of the leaves, and I know why. I'm going to show you. This is the issue. Where did it go? We have cabbage moths. So because it's still warm, they're out and about, and I noticed that, you can see here, I've actually just pulled them out, but I've got one left that's just hanging in there. That's a red cabbage, but all of my others have been eaten. And then I had a look at my tatsoi, and I was like, oh, that's being eaten as well. So I started to have a look, and I'm going to show you something. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. It's really well camouflage, but that is a caterpillar from a cabbage moth. So I'd say that has done all of the damage. It's probably had a munch on all of my brassicas. These ones over here are still doing okay because they're in a different position. So they're doing all right. And I think I've got some over this side here as well that are doing fine. Are they? Hang on. I'm starting to think of are they maybe? No, maybe not. No, they look okay. There's a few that haven't germinated. I need to resow the seeds. But yeah, so these are okay. But my concern is now these are not. So these are also being eaten, which means there's got to be one in here somewhere too. Yep, they've also been eaten. They're the cabbage. So I'm thinking I've either got to put, I think I need to put some, I need to put some bug net over these seedlings to stop because I have the windows open and the doors, the cabbage moths can come inside. And they seem to suss it out from a mile away, like these tiny little seedlings, and they find them. So anyway, I'm going to resow these. Those are looking okay, but I need to be sort of just checking and make sure that we don't have any eggs on them. So there'll be like a little yellow, actually that, I don't know if you can see that, but I think that there is a little caterpillar. Just gonna pull them off. So I've got to check them and make sure that I haven't got any little eggs underneath. And then I'm going to put them all over here and cover them in bug net. Anyway, I also sowed a whole heap of flowers. They're all coming up beautifully. Alrighty, what I've done is I've moved all of the brassicas. They're over there. I've swapped it over for things that the cabbage moth won't eat. And I've brought them all over here. So these are all brassicas, and I've covered them in this insect netting, bug netting. Now the netting's really long because these are designed to go over my gardens. So I've just sort of draped it over. Hopefully in the wind, I might just need to like weigh them down a little bit, but I don't want the wind to sort of blow that up from that open door. But yeah, these are now all covered. They still get plenty of light and sunlight, but the butterflies or the cabbage moths will not be able to land on these and lay their eggs. So fingers crossed that works a little bit better. So thanks for watching. This time of year, early autumn, best time to start your greens, your brassicas, particularly if you live in a cooler region like I do. And remember to let your some of your plants go to seed so you can collect some seed and make it easier when you don't have to buy new seed next time. The other thing that I haven't mentioned is by harvesting your own seed from plants that have grown in your own garden means that you are keeping the genetic material of plants that have grown well in your climate, so in your actual backyard climate. So choose seeds from plants that produce the best produce. So which ones are producing the best tomatoes, sunflowers, dill, whatever it is that you're collecting. And each year you can save seed. You may not even have to collect it every year because you get so many seeds from one plant that it may do you for a while. But you can save them from the ones that do the best in your climate, in your backyard. And then that way what you're doing is saving genetic material of plants that do well in your garden. So that's a real positive to saving your own seed. Secondly, of course, you save money. And third is it gives you some resilience. So I know that during COVID, everyone got into growing their own food. And a lot of the seeds all sold out. So, if you're keeping your own and harvesting your own seed and storing them for future use, you're a bit more resilient. You don't have to worry about buying them. And if they all get sold out, it's not such an issue. And it's a great bartering thing. You can barter with other people. You can swap seeds with someone else. They might have something new that you haven't grown and you can sort of do a seed swap. And a lot of towns have like seed libraries and seed swaps and things like that. So save your own seed. Just it honestly doesn't take a lot of work. It really just means letting your plants kind of go to seed and then collecting that seed or from the flower heads or whatever. Keep them in a cool, dry spot. You can actually keep them in a fridge or freezer if you want to store them for a longer period of time and ensure their viability. I tend to just store mine in a cool, dry spot in a cupboard in my laundry, which is on the southern end of the house, so it's a lot cooler. It just gives you resilience from year to year to know that you've got seeds there whenever you need them, and they're seeds of plants that you know are going to grow well in your backyard. Anyway, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe if you have liked this video and want to get notification of any future ones. Bye for now.